I know that many of you know that high frequency trading conducted by market makers like Citadel Securities drive market validity, and working people pay the price through their 401k and pension funds. That's what I'm most concerned about. Prior to 2008 and the financial crisis in 2008, Citadel sought to leverage its status as a hedge fund to compete with U.S. investment banks, but it didn't work. But Citadel has since used this regulatory blind spot to establish themselves as a dominant market maker for retail investors. So, Chairman Gensler, as a hedge fund, is Citadel Securities supervised by the Fed?
Good to see you again, by the way, Congresswoman. And I was just thinking, are they supervised by the Federal Reserve is a question for them, but if they're registered, Citadel Securities is registered at the SEC.
Are they designated? Is this helpful? Are they designated as systematically important financial institution? Are they considered a what do you call it, SIF?
I don't believe that I do not believe that the Financial Stability Oversight Council has made such designation.
Yeah, and so according to its own website, Chairman, actually Citadel Securities says they execute about 40% of all U.S. listed retail volume, and reportedly handles almost as much trading volume as NASDAQ. As market makers like Citadel conduct these high frequency trades, it's estimated that pension and retirement accounts already pay an annual $5 billion so-called quote tax, which is extremely alarming. And even though 50% of the American families, we don't own stock at all, it's working people who pay the price when Wall Street gambles with our money. And so, Chairman Gensler, in your testimony today, you did acknowledge that quote, issues of concentration may increase potential system-wide risks should any single incumbent with significant size or market value fail. Sorry if I misquoted, but I think what I'm more concerned is, do you believe Citadel and the firm like it currently pose a systematic risk to our financial system?
Yeah, so I do think that what we're seeing inside the financial markets is concentration growing. We see this outside of finance as well. We see it in search engines and online retailing and online streaming.
Don't you think this is like an extreme version of that? I mean, this is when they're doing this much trading and they're not considered a systematic risk.
Well, I don't know how to compare it to other parts of the economy, but we're seeing similar economics about the network effects that a firm gets increased advantage of data, then they're growing concentration. So I've asked staff to really take a look at this, because there are issues not just of fragility or resiliency, which you've raised, but also, is this the most efficient capital markets if there's a player? Now, this is just in the retail space, but players that are so concentrated in that space, and is the pricing in the market the best?
Yeah, and what's concerning is, as you know, the Citadel's impact on pricing and liquidity is if they fail. I mean, the pensions. I mean, there's going to be direct impact. But Chairman, does the SEC have any contingencies in place in the event of a failure of a large market maker like Citadel right now, if they fail?
Well, part of that is also our oversight of the clearing houses and ensuring that there's appropriate oversight of their counterparties. And this would be true of any large market player. But I'd like to work with you and your staff a little bit more, because in my third week, I haven't sat down and sort of found out all those but by rigorous oversight of all the brokerage firms and the significant brokerage firms and clearinghouse.
Yeah, well, as a market maker like Citadel has grown larger and consolidated their market position, they have used their status as a hedge fund to evade regulatory scrutiny, and it's very clear. So I hope the SEC cannot, doesn't turn a blind eye to this regulatory loophole or the systematic risk hedge funds like Citadel poses. And so, again, I really appreciate the chairwoman bringing this to light, because we will not have a healthy, transparent market so long as retail orders are directed towards a shrinking handful of wholesale traders. And so, again, it's really important. Thank you, and I yield back.